Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Chaos Zero Nightmare. In today's video, we're on to number 3 of the podcast, trying to be doing them weekly, which, hey, I'm impressed we've managed to organize this one. Today we have Car 6 and Tristan Wolf on. Massive shout out to Car 6 for saying yes on short notice and then organizing Tristan on about 3 minutes notice. So thanks to you guys. First of all, what we're going to cover in this one, I want to have a chat about the new season and about Yuki. I see a lot of people, wanting buffs, complaining about Yuki, want to have a bit of a chat about her in general, and then just in general, the design philosophy around the update and stuff like that, and anywhere else that we go. Quick intros, Car 6, first of all, you give a little quick background on yourself.
Yeah, sure. Vulcan, we met over on another game, but now CZN is out and I am loving it. Been playing a lot of different mobile games, but CZN right now is all the jam and I can't wait for our topics today, especially Yuki.
Yep, and Tristan?
Yeah, I've been avoiding it. I've been very, very busy and I've been pretending that I don't have time for it. And my community was pressuring me. I said, fine, I'll play it. And I haven't put it down for about 12 hours straight.
Beautiful. All right. So let's get into it. First topic, let's talk about Yuki herself. Now, I'm pretty sure I got the meme here somewhere. Wait, let me grab the meme because the meme is actually fantastic. That goes with it. So it's this one here. Let's put it up on screen. Shape it up a bit.
I've seen this.
So I think this one does represent her really well. And the thing with it is, I don't mind all the hurdles you jump through in the comboing. I find comboing incredibly fun. I think the only problem is the output damage, specifically in single target, and the clunkiness in chaos. So I just think that means absolutely fantastic. I love anything like that. It gives me a laugh every time I see it. But Car, because I saw your video, or at least I saw the first 2 minutes, because I checked and I was like, you had her at 60, you've been invested. I went ahead and invested mine up to 55, did the limit break. I only have the Douglas, so I even limit broke him, which just caused massive trauma to me doing that. But what's your general thoughts on the power level of Yuki so far?
It's like that meme said, you do a lot of work to achieve not the best results. However, if we're just talking AoE, right? Let's just get this out of the way. Her AoE damage is incredible. But like we were talking about, if you want to do like single target, you got to jump through so many hoops to do kind of midline damage, where other characters I feel like do similar damage, but have to work way less hard. But if you want to dedicate yourself to Yuki, like you got her to 60 Volk or 55, you do need to get a better partner though, man. I don't know why we upgraded the 3-star Bear, but once you get that Lillian, I think she's going to start to feel much better. But yeah, I think base level, she has some issues, but if you dedicate yourself, she can definitely work.
Yeah, the AoE is fine, and especially when you take her into like with a proper build. Like I still don't have a great build on her, but because I have a decent build on my Veronica, and then I have a decent one on my Mika, it kind of like makes her still feel all right, even with a bad build on her specifically. I think the biggest problem that she has is in the chaos, because she just feels clunky in the chaos, especially the new one. We obviously lack all the different buffs in the new one. I can't go in because I'm currently doing one, but in general, I've been trying to run her on deep trauma on difficulty 7, so 1 difficulty down to try and get a decent save. But anyone trying to do difficulty 8, especially difficulty 8 on deep trauma, like when I ask people and people come at me and they're like, yeah, she works really well in Mika Khalip team. And it's just like, no, that's because that's the Babysitters Club, and Mika Khalip can kind of carry anyone through chaos. So
it could probably 2-man it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's kind of like that's a little bit cope. So I find I just have to use her with Mika, even though outside of chaos, I feel like, you can play her really well, like, using Nia and Veronica. A lot of people use Cassius. And those comps work. But in Chaos, I just feel like you need that extra sustain that Mika provides to kind of get through it. And because you got the extra AP generation, then I've been trying to build her without the 0 cost and more aiming towards the 1 cost with more damage. But it still just feels a little bit clunky getting through the Chaos mode. Is that kind of what you're feeling?
100%, man. So there's a few problems, right? The new seasonal chaos, one, I think it's just more difficult than our 0 system. We don't have the delaying upgrades. We don't have any of the skill tree upgrades. 2, the element is void. So Yuki's just really tough there. And then, like you were saying, if you don't bring Mika, things can go sideways real quick, even when you have Mika. So we just completed level 8 on trauma mode with Yuki, no Kalipe. But it was with Mika and it was with Beryl, and it was still extremely tough. It's just Yuki is just a character where some mobs, if they're really tough, single target, she's gonna suffer. And if you take too long in this new seasonal chaos, yeah, she can fall behind very quickly. So I think having trouble in chaos is definitely what a lot of people are gonna experience. It would have been nice, Vulcan. We were talking about this earlier in the pre-waiting room, that if they maybe made the new chaos more catered to, it feels like they half catered to her with all the items, but then they didn't give her the right element. And so a lot of people, I think, is why you see a lot of complaints is the main mode chaos is really tough on her.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like I haven't even jumped into the Dimensional Twilight yet. I haven't even done one stage because I moved all my gear. Like I have to piece together my Rin and Hugo's gear to put it all onto her to make a set for her. And then I'm like, oh, I can't be bothered shifting it back to do this. But you know, they made her basically buffed in this. But the problem with Dimensional Twilight is it's just not really an important part. Yes, you go through it and you get the rewards, but it's not where you spend time in the game. And catering the new character to be strong in this just doesn't really matter, I think, in the overall scheme, considering it's not even that hard if you've got decent builds on your other characters. So it kind of feels like they've tried to make the character, you know, catered towards this, but they need to, I think, when they design a character, make them feel good in the chaos because that's where you're going to be using them. Even if it's through limited time buff. I don't care as long as it doesn't make other characters feel worse. For instance, like a dumb idea I had with Yuki is maybe in this specific chaos that we're doing, add it that when you jump into a stage, there's a training dummy next to in every stage. And hitting that training dummy is any damage it takes splits the damage between the enemies on the stage. So then it doesn't make the chaos run any harder for other single target damage dealers because it's the same balance as it was. But now it gives an extra damage boost to the AoE that she brings. You know what I mean? Something like that to make them. And I don't know if that's something that people wouldn't like because they feel like, oh, now my character doesn't feel as good. But I feel like if you're trying to give the new character the benefit of the doubt to feel good, especially when it's like the second character release, I feel like they need to do something to try and make them feel good in the Chaos run. And all the equipment that's been added to make, like, catered around her, around drawing and stuff, even that kind of just doesn't feel like enough in Chaos.
No, preach, man. Especially on the basin part, guys. Don't take offense, but I resonate so much with what Vulcan said. The Twilight Basin thing, it is an important mode, right? You got to do it every 3 weeks or so. But you're going to see a lot of people pop off with Yuki in there. But she has buffs. You have perfect save data. So don't let that be a reason to, like, base a character's power level off. That's like a very simulated... you put everything that goes right. And Chaos is where things like are really, it's where your metal's tested. There's so many random events. And like Vulcan was saying, if there's no features really that really accelerate Yuki, she gets punished so hard in this mode between the single target and then the wrong element.
Yeah.
I feel like they could have done better showcasing her strengths.
Yeah. And like I was saying, I feel like with her in save data, like this one's huge for her because even the discarding ones, if you start with her cards in hand and discard them, they don't go into the played pile, they go into the discard pile. So they will reshuffle through on searches on the first turn still. So you got things like that. Then if we look at my Veronica's build here, we got the storage, which can come in handy. But then the big one is this one here, which gives you an extra AP and draw, which activates it. So there's a lot of things that can like make her feel good in this aspect. I'm just going to jump into this is just a story boss, like nothing crazy, just so I can show you. But like, if once you get like a decent build, oh dude, the auto is so like, why are you getting rid of the upgrade, you stupid auto? My god. But dude, there goes all my extra damage. But you can see the idea of
no, it's great, it's hilarious.
but you can see like once you start cooking here and you start comboing off it. Yeah. It's you just get into like a really smooth feeling play. Like you can see I still haven't done half me stuff, and she's on a completely scuffed build.
Since we were being a little, negative, let me just say, animation wise, not even talking about her assets, guys, as we all know what we're talking about here, but just playstyle wise, animations, when you press the cards, man, she feels so good. I think they did such an amazing job on the visual, just the weight of her hits. So if you hear us kind of critiquing, it's just because we're being real, but Everything else, man, if you guys like how she looks, I encourage y'all to pick her up because I think she's a very, very fun character,
Yeah.
despite some of the flaws.
Yeah, unfortunately, this one was a brick with no drawers. But yeah, like I just feel like as soon as you get her into a proper build, she can feel really, really damn nice. But until you get her in one of those builds, it just feels so damn clunky. And trying to like brute force your way through the chaos run is just, it's absolutely brutal. But yeah, like once you actually get some draw, and once again, I feel like her like this kind of like the starting without a card in hand, without the activation that you get from E2. I feel like E2 just like really makes her comfortable. And it's kind of weird that the way they designed her E2 in that it like makes half of her, like some of her cards just obsolete, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of weird synergies. Not only that, Vulcan, the E1, right? You don't have either ego, but by the way, Vulcan, if you guys in my side of the community, Vulcan got insanely lucky. So he can actually get, I think, 2 or 3 right now. He's just choosing to stay on a low ego. But ego 1, I think, is not a great design. Vulcan, would you mind? Yeah, this one here.
Yep.
It's actually like you put a 20% handicap on the character for free to plays and you remove it for whales. So I feel like we could have done a better job on the ego imprints by being a little more creative. I think these things are a little lazy, and it's part of the reason why I feel like Yuki, there's multitudes that we'll get into later between like she can't stack on her flash lash, but I think a lot of these things just make her feel not as good. And that's why you see these memes pop up that she's got to work so hard to achieve similar results.
It's a bloody good.
I was looking at that when I was thinking about pulling for. I was thinking the same thing. I was looking at that when I was thinking about pulling for, and I was like, why do I have to get an imprint just to make the character work at her baseline? That felt really bad. And I was kind of wondering how much of the hate I was seeing online, how much of this unit's garbage, she needs a buff stuff, was centered around the fact that she looks like she needs E2 to feel good. And that you're always going to be looking at those egos thinking, I'm always a step behind by not having this filled out.
Yeah. What do you think about that? Like, what do you think of that in terms of a design philosophy? Like,
I think it's a bad design philosophy. People don't like to have penalties, right? You want discounts, not fees. You want things that feel good, that are working for you. You don't want to feel like you're being penalized. You want to feel like you're rewarded for spending, not that you're being penalized for not. Even though at the end of the day, it's the same thing. It doesn't feel good from a player standpoint.
Yeah, and this is one of those things that I'll ask you guys about the way Epic 7 does it, because I haven't played Epic 7 since like when it launched like 7 years ago. But I say this every time, but I feel like everything they designed themselves in the game is like absolutely fantastic, and everything they copied from Star Rail and Hoyo is just complete arse. And this was something I always had an issue with in Star Rail, is like you feel like you're not playing the character the way they were designed until you get X amount of dupes. I don't give a shit if dupes give you like an extra 50% damage boost. Like, it is what it is. Like, if it's just raw damage, increasing multipliers, stuff like that. Now, listen, this dupe 1 would look so much better if it was just the base skill didn't have a reduction and this was adds damage onto it. This feels like they've just put it like put the Goku ankle weights on you, and it's like now we remove them. It's just so dumb. It's a backwards way. You could do the exact same thing but have it the other way around, and it wouldn't look like you've just tried to cripple the character for the sake of making people get that dupe. It's really dumb, but this kills me. And it's like the same thing in Star Rail, and the big one for me was like Firefly. When I free to play saved up everything for Firefly to get her, I think it was the E2 that allowed her to get an extra attack when she broke someone or whatever it was. And it's like, that is a core mechanical system to the character that changes their entire function. And I said it when I did a podcast with Sue and Cosmic, when we were looking at Haru, and a lot of people were talking about E2 Haru that, you know, reduces the cost of the anchor strike. And this is another one of those ones where put damage into these things, cool, but don't change the core mechanics of the way you can play the character. It's just one of those real frustrating ones, especially in this, when it just makes you like, you draw 3 or 4 of her cards and it just feels like an absolute brick. So I don't know. What's like the Epic 7 philosophy around that kind of stuff?
I can jump in, and then I'm sure Tristan has a lot of thoughts on it too.
Yeah.
But between Epic 7 and Etheria, I think it's the PvP game portion. The dupes, they will give stats like you were mentioning, like more damage, but you don't have any like functional gameplay changing parts of the kit to it. And yeah, I think that is definitely an inspired from the Hoyo games. Tristan, thoughts on the whole dupe thing?
Yeah, I mean, dupes in E7 probably have less impact than any other game I've ever played. It's literally just like, here's a few percent extra health, here's a few percent extra attack, here's a couple of different couple more speed. It's never unlocks a skill or makes a unit's limit break do more things. It's really watered down. So the necessity of dupes is really underscored in E7. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, a pet peeve, because that was like my pet peeve in Star Rail. But it's just like, yeah, if you get it, like if you're like me and you get 3 copies in 20 pulls, well, yeah, that's going to feel really great to have. But on a general basis, I just feel like it just hurts. And when it really does feel like it changes the way the character plays, I don't know. I'm just not really here for it, but hopefully they consider that moving forward.
More attacks, not bad, but it's
Or the crit chance?
It's not 20% less damage.
Yeah, it's
this is a real departure from the normal model.
Yeah, like I said, I couldn't care how much damage boost a character get, but yeah, I'd just love to see actual core. It feels like they designed her to be played with this. Or I don't know, because then you look at some of the cards and it's like maybe they designed her not to play, and then that's just an absolute cracked one. Because especially this one, like activate inspiration for all cards in hand. Once you have E2, this becomes kind of obsolete. You know what I mean? Because you've now got the E2, which removes these. So I don't know. It's just a weird situation. I'm not a massive fan of. But what about her ultimate? What do you guys think about the ultimate?
I've been complaining about this thing nonstop. I bet some people can make good use of it, but if I just gauge it compared to other characters' ultimates, especially for 5 cost, it's exactly like the meme. Once again, you got to do so much work that I feel like if they just change it to make it more self-reliant, the fact that you got to, 1, have all the Yuki cards in hand, 2, have some way to draw them back, because Yuki herself doesn't draw it with the ult, so you'd have to have some way to draw them back. And then after all that aligns, it's still like decent. Yeah, I wish this was just a lot more self-reliant. Maybe if it had the draw effect built into itself, they could just lower the numbers if they're worried about it being too strong. But it's so strange in the design, Vulcan, that a lot of like Yuki's cards, her ultimate, they just seem like they were afraid of her being too strong or something.
Yeah. See, this one in its current state, if it was like a 2 cost, maybe a 3 cost, I'd be cool with it, because then it gives you that utility if you have a proper team built. Like I've used this a fair few times where it really pays off, because, I have my pot of greeds in hand and I can then just draw them straight back and then activate them. So it feels good when you get to combo this off. But I feel like that's a utility purpose, and I feel like that should make it like a 2 or 3 cost on utility. I
think that's a good point in a save data, right? Especially you're saying the pot of greed, which is anything that draws 2, maybe gives like an AP or something. Yeah, if you can align it all, right, it feels great. But the problem is, we were talking about this at the start. When you go into chaos, right, you don't have all the perfect draws. Sometimes your partners. This is another thing with Yuki. You need to bring the right partners with her, otherwise it feels really mediocre. And the ultimate is like all of this combined. If you don't have those draws ready, a lot of times you're left there holding a 5 ego cost ult that other characters can just kind of rip off and just have good value immediately.
Yep. And
I think it's just a cost issue. I saw it and I liked it. I like the concept. I like the idea that they're making you think outside the box, think several moves ahead, and set something unique up for a huge payoff. But the 5 cost on it for something that you need imprints to make even do decent damage, there's complex, and then there's challenging, and then there's jumping through your own asshole backwards to force something to happen.
Yeah. I feel like 5 cost, add a draw 2 on the end of it, and then it's in a good place.
Yeah, if it had draw built in, I think it would feel so good.
That leads me to the next thing. I've seen a lot of people screaming for a buff to her. What do you guys think? First, like Tristan, what do you think about buffing characters in general, and do you think she'd get one?
She's 48 hours old, so I'm really resistant to buffing anything that's that young. I know they want to get a buff in while the banner's still live, of course, but I mean, holy crap. Let some people cook. I mean, I know people have been busting their ass with her, but have we really seen all the possible synergies yet? I haven't gotten a chance to explore with her or use a test server or try different things. It's hard to see what she will be like down the road, because people can't even fully gear this unit yet. People can't fully gear any unit. I've seen whales that don't have full gear yet for these things. So, God, test server would be so nice. Do you really feel like her core damage and kit is the problem? Do we just need more cards? Do you think a partner could fix this? A better partner for her? Is there really no future other than buffs to make her, not feel so bad in the hands of other people?
What do you reckon, Carl?
Okay, I think it's twofold, right? If they never buff her, I think it's fine. You're going to be able to put off some good combos with her if you bring the right partners, bring the right gear. She's going to feel fine as a character in CZ in the current base. There are a few things, though, like we're talking with the Ego. I would like the Ego 1. I would like Ego 1 and Ego 2 to not be as, handicapping players that don't have any dupes. I would like to have that limit removed. Vulcan, you do me a favor? Go to // here.
Oh, oops, my bad.
No, back on the cards. Yeah, //. And if we just look at the epiphanies, the one that can scale up, we have characters like Mei Lin right now that can cap infinite amounts of combos, and they put limits on Yuki for I don't know why. When we have just fun characters that can do 30, 50, 70k damage, we have so many limiters on her that I would like to see maybe a few buffs if that's even a possibility. If the design philosophy in this game is no buffs, then like I said, I think Yuki will be okay. Give us more time to cook. You invest in her properly, she's going to feel great, but I think we could do better.
Yeah, see, my one concern with buffing her is that I don't think she's bad. I think she's pretty well balanced around the roster in like modes, endgame modes, whatever you want to call them, modes that aren't chaos, where you can take proper builds in. Because she actually feels good in those modes to me. She doesn't feel trash. It's just that she feels so bad in chaos. And that I feel like that's the main problem people are having. She's just so hard to make function. And like you said, she just misses the things that both Mei Lin and Rin have, which is they move cards as opposed to draw. So when you play a card in that turn, it goes to the played pile of the discard pile, which means it can't be reshuffled in that turn. So you can only reshuffle from the discard pile on the turn after it's been played. But with the move cards, you can move them back, meaning you can continue to loop. But with her, with both her searching cards being Prepare to Subdue and the version of Trickery Strike, you have a ceiling on how much you can actually play in a turn because of that. Even like you said, her finisher has a limit on it as well, which is very strange. And something you said I think would have been interesting would be if this E2... if baseline at the start of battle activates inspiration and the E2 gives it for the next 2 turns, like that would be an interesting thing where, then you don't feel as bad in every starting hand, feeling like you're absolutely bricked. But yeah, like I said, I feel like it is exactly what Tristan said. It's so early, and that's why I'm always so tentative on saying anything like that, because people will just jump to a quick conclusion and go, she's trash, she needs a buff. But once again, I feel like in built teams in the endgame modes, especially AoE, like if she's going to be the AoE specialist, I feel like she is really strong in AoE damage. And do you want her to have the single target capacity of the single target damage dealers that don't have AoE? I don't think you do. So you want it to be a balance. But once again, I feel like the problem is the chaos, because if a character is trash in chaos, now it's really hard to get them a good build to actually take into those modes. So it's something they need to balance around, like moving into the future with every character, because if they're going to continue to make the chaos harder, like if Zero System was the max difficulty we have, she would be fine in chaos, because you get all the extra buffs, you get the extra refreshes in the shop, you can do all those things in Zero mode. But they decided, I don't know whether they decided Zero System was too easy, so they've made this one, and they're like, we're going to make this hard as hell. But especially when the first banner character struggles through it, it's like, okay, that's where you got to like tune the balance. And I think whether that becomes making adjustments to chaos to account for that, that's what I'd like to see before a straight change to the character. But yeah, I still think endgame mode's great with proper builds on supports and stuff like that. But yeah, in chaos, it's a struggle out there. Any other final thoughts on Yuki?
Yeah, like real talk. Smilegate has got a problem in Epic 7. Game's 7 years old. It's very, very sweaty. It's not for casuals. It's a hardcore game, and it's very competitive. And they have come out with some monsters that have backed them into corners where if you want to be able to sell a unit, every new unit has to be insane. I mean, so ridiculously broken. I describe the units kit to people who don't play the game, and they're like, what are they thinking? So every single banner comes out is more horrific than the one before, is more broken than the one before, and any of the older units are left in the dust. But that's the game they have to play over there. That's the stage they've set. And I think they're being a lot more careful and cautious with their approach to CZN. They don't want CZN to wind up like that. So yeah, they're coming in more cautious. They're making more balanced characters, and I applaud that. I think balancing to make Yuki a push button, go burr, all content over fast is just going to start them down the road of what they have in Epic 7. And it's refreshing to be able to play a game where I can go, this is challenging. Yes, she's not destroying all content. Yeah, I have to think about how to use her. Maybe down the road, other things are going to come along to pair with her. But no, other than the manifest ego imprint BS, that I think should be reworked, but that's more of a design change and philosophy they should take moving forward with how they're going to approach that than Yuki herself. So unpopular opinion, because most of my community comes from that hardcore group where they want to play hardcore. I think she's fine, and I don't think they should mess with her until enough time goes by that people just aren't playing her at all and she's not being touched.
Yeah, I think because if she came out and she was absolutely broken, then we'd have all the power creep conversations going on. So it is a very fine balance. And like I said, I feel like if there's something they can do in the chaos to make it more viable to run characters through chaos, because like there's some characters that just feel bricky in chaos. Like Hugo, if you epiphany out of his outbreak of war or whatever they call it now, it just feels like a bit of a
Initiation.
brick. Yeah, initiation. I hate that they changed that. Outbreak of war sounds so
Me
cool.
too, man. Jesus.
But yeah, it's just like I feel like just it's something that they have to just assess moving forward is, okay, it feels like we're balancing around Dimensional Twilight, which takes people 10 minutes, every reset. That's a bit of an exaggeration, but you get the gist. Or we now have to look at how do we balance this stuff to make it feel enjoyable and viable in chaos so that is the main part that people play and they can play it well enough to actually clear it. You know what I mean? And I think that's where the balance goes moving forward. Because once again, I think like Yuki herself in Endgame, I've said it 100 times already, feels fine. She feels balanced. She's the AoE. Like I know some people are saying Khalip does more damage AoE. I don't think that is the case. I don't have Khalip yet, so I can't speak directly to it because I've only played her on other people's accounts, and then you got the account difference. But I feel like she is going to be like the top tier AoE damage dealer, but only in situations where you have the decks built. And the problem with the chaos is basically every boss is a single target fight that you've got to try and work your way through to get through it. So it's just the chaos issue that is my main issue. Any roundup thoughts, Car 6?
I think both of you were spitting facts. The one thing I'll say is though, like I 100% with Tristan on the power creep. We do not want power creep in this game, but the fact that this is a PvE game, I do think they can make characters feel more fun, and we don't need those handicap stuff that we were discussing earlier. Other than that, though, I think you said it best. The Kalipe guys, if anyone's saying Kalipe does more damage, I think Kalipe is an amazing unit and might feel better overall than Yuki, but she needs more setup to do more AoE damage. Yuki can just rip through multiple mobs very easily if she's geared well.
Yeah. I mean, but the Kalipe thing is you get the support with it, so you would hope
exactly. That's probably why they think
anyway.
She's an AoE character that also does shields and babysits your team. So maybe that's where the comparison comes from. But if we're just talking pure damage, Yuki does way more AoE with less setup.
Yep. And that's the thing. She's set up out of the box. Like as long as you have the draw pair in your hand and you don't start with the cards in hand, you can really pop off. But it's that brickiness of just starting with them all in hand and not being able to deal with it if you get into that situation. But moving on past that, the next main thing that we had is obviously the entire update. What do you guys think about just the whole update, the Galactic Disaster, as like a design philosophy for updates moving forward? We'll start with you, Tristan.
Be honest with you, I haven't watched the update yet.
12
hours. Oh,
you've been grinding for 12 hours. All right, we'll kick it with you, Car.
So we're just talking about this whole new thing, this forbidden.
Yeah, like if this is like their design philosophy for the updates with a unique chaos, the story mode. You got like the bossing section.
Man. It's like a love-hate thing for me, Vulcan. I love the idea, and this is how we're gonna get seasonal cards, new items, and this is gonna be able to shape the way we play the game. Other characters get like indirect buffs. We saw the like Yuki items in here. There's new neutral cards, monster cards. I think this is a really good idea. The problem I don't like is The chaos itself doesn't feel amazing. It's harder, but it doesn't reward more either, in my opinion. Some of the events feel lackluster. It's harder to get good save data, and then the fact that it's, you know, if you want to play Yuki here, she gets punished. But that's a side point. The other thing is,
Wait.
you know, I think I'll leave it
They
at that
came
for
out
now.
with an update. They came out with an update and a new character at the same time, and you can't use the new character in the update.
No, you can.
Yeah,
She
I don't
just feels
fuck
like
on that one
us.
too much. Yeah, if maybe they made like the first half, they could have.
Can. Okay.
There's some chaos modes, right? That you have multiple elements, so they could have maybe done some order and then set up the void later for when Chizuru comes around, right? Because they're probably planning for Chizuru on the void part.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the idea is great, Vulcan. So moving forward, I think the chaos to me was a little bit of a miss in terms of just how good it feels and how fun it is. I don't think it's rewarding enough for the difficulty. So if they ever just fix that, I think the idea itself is a great way to keep like the end game fresh and also buff characters via new cards and equipment.
Yeah, so like things like the challenge missions, just getting extra freebies, that always feels good. Like I like the structure of having that, getting the supply store to start stocking up on extra resources. Honestly, the story mode's huge. I haven't finished it yet, just to get some extra bloody units, because you're broke the whole time. So, getting an extra 45,000 per stage on that is absolutely fantastic. The Nebula Distortion. Actually, let's just cut to the Nebula Distortion for a sec. How do you feel about this, more specifically, having to use the season save data for it?
You want to start, Trist?
I don't think he's up to it.
All you.
Oh, I
I'm
also
not there yet,
haven't
man.
ventured
I'm not
into
there.
this too much
I'm
yet.
leveling you,
I'm
dude.
actually working on it right now.
Yeah.
But I like I said, this is the same thing. Love, hate. I think it's a cool idea. The problem is right now the current chaos doesn't feel the best to run. Like I want to go back to zero system where I have all my skill upgrades. So that part doesn't feel great, but I think the idea itself is a good one moving forward. I think you should be incentivized to play the new content, get the new cards and the unique stuff to it.
Yeah, so my problem is that the public cards, I always forget, neutral cards is what they call them. It feels like they're not I feel like they over bloat your save data. Not as much as monster cards are completely pointless. So new monster cards, it's like, what's the point in even having them? And if the only thing that changes in terms of cards is the neutral cards, and if you don't want them, then you're forced into chasing the same deck that you've already built through the new chaos. And that doesn't feel great. So I feel like instead of making the limitation of you can't use old save data here, it's like, make it to the point where I want to get a new save data. Because like right now, I would love to be able to just chase another one of the same save data that I have on my Veronica. But now I've got to go through this to get it. So I don't know how I feel about the requirement of it. Maybe you get a little buff to damage for each character that's using a season save data or something like that. So that you don't feel like every season you're going to have to chase the exact same thing over and over again. But yeah, no, that's just a bit of a weird one for me. But I agree with you with the chaos. It feels a little bit weird that, in the chaos, we put all this work into zero system. I feel like maybe they should have just slapped this world into zero system and had it as its own section in zero system with all the interface, so that you get all the zero system benefits. Because now going to the new chaos where you don't get your 5 refreshes, you don't get all the buffs.
Dude, it's
just like, what was the point in having zero system if you're just going to make it obsolete? So, and the thing with zero system, you can't get as high a save data.
Would it be too much to ask? Would it be too much to ask if we just have if you work on the zero system, it counts towards the seasonal? I feel like that wouldn't be too crazy. They would have to go back, and I think they designed it without it in mind, but I think it'd be fun to have that allowed, because it just sucks to have a cool feature that you get used to and then it gets ripped away, right? It's like you're starting over and you have another mode that just feels better.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's one of the big issues with, and that's why the chaos also feels so hard, because you're missing all those just raw stat buffs as well, plus the refreshes. So I don't know. In general, I think I like the event philosophy. I just think that chaos is the one implementation where maybe they can have a think about it moving forward. Anything else you guys want to talk about the update, or Yuki herself, or just design philosophy and stuff like that?
I mean, guys, if you look at Yuki and you still don't want to pull, she's probably not for you, man. I think a lot of it is, do you like the way the character looks? Do you like the way the character plays? And if not, I think that's how you need to start approaching this game. If you just want meta picks, take Felipe, take Veronica, take Hugo, call it a day. Otherwise,
Oh,
I don't know. I
did
think
you just
start
say?
playing.
Did you just leave out everyone's favorite character?
Which one? What's the favorite?
Or
Maylin?
whatever they're playing, because you'll have the Maylins.
Oh,
You'll
yeah.
have,
Sorry, I
you'll
need to
have the
list
Luke
every
players out there
character
now.
in
The
the
E2
game.
Luke
That's my fault.
players. You know, you're gonna have all
No,
those people.
listen. I still stand by that some characters are easier and more efficient than others, but every character with perfect save data and the right partners, right? You put them in base and they're all going to crush. Yuki's not one of those top tier characters that just works all the time, so keep that in mind. But I think you all should start playing based off looks and play style, and it's a PvE game. Don't take it so, you don't need to be super serious about the numbers too much.
Yeah, I think we'll get into just general gameplay discussion now, because I still think that's like my favorite part about this game is that when I play card games, because I used to play a lot of like competitive Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff like that, the big thing for me was like, who cares about meta? You just play something with like cool combos that you like. And for me, once again, going back to Yuki, I really love playing her when I've got my proper decks. Like, she is so fun to play. And like, I originally wasn't going to pull for her, and I still wasn't. I was only doing 20 summons and I got 3, but it is what it is. You know, some of us just have to deal with the cards we're dealt. But like, I was not going to play her, and then we were on that dev stream, and they were like showing the combos going off, and I'm like, this is actually a really fun playstyle that I think is like incredibly fun, and that's what I love about it. But the problem, once again, it's just like that chaos. Like, I think the biggest difference in characters is not their final potential; it's more their the floor of playing good, which is how easy they are with their base kit to start functioning in chaos. Because if chaos is the thing you're continually repeating, you don't want to feel like you're climbing a mountain just to get a little save. You know what I mean? You'd rather feel like it's comfortable.
That's why you got to like the playstyle, right? Because you have to do 20 to 30 to up to an hour runs of chaos. There's no auto, guys. So if you hate the character's playstyle, even if they're the strongest, most recommended character, you're not going to play the game. You got to grind these chaos modes. You have to really enjoy the playstyle. And one thing that Vulcan was mentioning, how fun Yuki is, guys. I think she's one of the best farmers. So whenever you just got to do your daily refreshes, you want to breeze through those simulations. I know the AI sucks, but Yuki just cuts through those mobs like a hot knife through butter.
Yeah. Now, I want to talk quickly about game modes. Because like I said at the start, I feel like everything that they implemented themselves, the chaos, all that's good, and then the Star Rail stuff is a little bit of a miss. You know, like the the turn limitations on Basin just kind of feels like weird in a card game. Is there anything from Epic 7 as a game mode or like a core like game mode outline that you guys would think would go well in this game that they could, sort of steal from that? Tristan, we'll start with you.
Increasing the speed of auto would be nice for farming some of the grindable stuff.
Yep.
It's not respectful of a player's time to have to sit there and watch it slowly grind away the same fights over and over again.
Actually, the one thing that I do notice is when you play it on manual, you can just keep dragging cards and it'll do them quicker, but on auto it does the drag, the play, the drag, the play,
slower on auto,
and then it manuals your gear bags and stuff. It's like, oh my god. Any
somewhat programmable auto, right? I know that's tricky in a card game. That's real tricky. It's so varied, but should be able to lock certain things out.
The one thing I was thinking, because I think there's just not enough modes that make use of the save data. You spend all this time going for a save data, and then you never really use it because you just go back to chaos. I don't know whether like like some sort of I'm sure Epic 7 has the tower that all those games have that resets monthly. Do they have that?
Yeah. We've got that. It resets never.
Oh, it doesn't reset.
We have a few different modes, but the one you're talking about,
the Tower of Automation, I guess, but that's not like a Spiral Abyss Doom Tower, a big 100.
Oh, okay, so I'm thinking like TOA in Summoner's War or Doom Tower in Raid.
We do have a Tower of Automation. Yeah, it's not quite as it's like 25 floors, and it's so simple. It's more like a daily quest than there is any challenge to it.
Okay. See, I'd love to see one of those type modes where, at least for new players, like getting to floor 100 and clearing it, and you get like, in Raid, it's the Sacred Shard. In Summoner's War, it's the I can't remember what they call those ones anymore. But like, you know, you get that really good reward at the end of it, but it's also really difficult. And then they both those games have a hard mode of it, and it resets monthly. So it gives you something to really make a build and use it to really test yourself. Because I don't know, I just feel like one of those challenges with a big payoff would be really nice. That I just feel like this game, because it's copied Star Rail, and Star Rail was built around that whole system of, oh, let's not make people feel too bad. So, you know, you miss a couple stars here, you're only missing out on 100 gems. Like, it's not crazy. So everyone feels happy and comfortable. But I feel like this game is kind of the one that you could put some of those game modes with really good rewards. And maybe your first month of the game, you don't actually get to clearing the easy version. Like, so be it. But I feel like games, gotcha games especially these days that come out, they're too afraid to not basically give people everything. And I'd love to see something like that is a nice challenge that really incentivizes you to play that save data that you've spent hours upon hours grinding. And then, you know, you kind of just have the dimensional twilight to put it into, and that's about it.
Yeah,
here's the issue is Smilegate had that, right? They gave it the very unique and original name of Automation Tower. And it was 100 floors. It was scalable difficulty. It reset every month, and it was only the end game could really clear the end of it. And people lost their damn minds because they went a little bit over the top on the top few floors. They made it, you know, if you don't have these specific units, you just don't get to progress past this floor. And people got very upset about it. So they retrofitted it. They dropped the difficulty. And I mean, they didn't just drop the difficulty. They No Child Left Behind it down to nothing and dropped it to 25 floors and practically made it just a 15-minute long auto battle quest thing that you do every 2 weeks. And, you know, initially everybody loved it because it was a shit ton of rewards and it was kind of new and unique, but now nobody even pays attention to it. People forget to do it because it's just so pull my finger easy. There's no challenge to it. So they may be a little nervous to try to go back to that well again because they failed so magnificently the first time, and then now there's no going back. You can't say, yeah, we made it too easy, guys. So all these rewards, you have to work for them now. That'll go over like a fart in church.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe Smilegate's a little nervous to implement that kind of stuff. I would like to see them take more chances with more challenging PvE content. But, lately, PvE content in at least Epic 7, challenging has not been the order du jour. They said, you know, we're just going to make this a PvP game with some farmable PvE stuff on the side. And I think they're trying to come here for the challenging PvE stuff with really giant HP buffs.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it pans out. But out of curiosity, is Epic 7 big in Korea, or is it more of a Western game now? Do you guys know?
Last I heard, about 15 to 20% of the player base was Korean, which is significant. But for a Korean-owned IP, it's more supported and populated globally and across Asia, I think.
Asia, yeah.
But
it didn't take off in Japan. Korea's been just like in CZN. There's been some like the Korean drama that happens where a lot of players either leave, threaten to leave. It's still pretty big there overall, though, I would say. I think it's a similar numbers to CZN, all things considered. Yeah,
I'm just curious on where they're going to go in terms of their design philosophies and who they focus on. Whether like Epic 7 turned into more global focus and the rest, or are they going to keep locking in on the Korean complaints and all that stuff?
I'm not sure E7 like turned globally focused so much as that. Like, Asian players just don't take shit, and they have long memories. Global players, we put up with EA, so anything these companies do doesn't bother us. So
that's a great point.
I don't know.
We just want compensation. Just give us free stuff.
Yeah, no, just give me free stuff in the mail. It's pretty good. Like,
selector ticket, all's forgiven, right?
Yeah, that's it. I'm still waiting on that selector. I thought we were going to get it for that event tab, red dot that was there forever, but that's pretty much it. But is there anything else that you guys wanted to touch on? I might have to cut this one a little bit short just because my daughter's got she's getting an award at her assembly, so I got to get to that today. But any other stuff that you guys want to have a quick yap about for the next 10 minutes?
I mean, I think you guys covered most of it. More ways to use save data. What if we had like a chaos? Like, I like the idea of chaos, but what if we could take our save data into a specific chaos mode? I think that'd be kind of cool. I don't know how that would work exactly, but have those roguelike elements, but just more ways to use the stuff we grinded for, like you mentioned. Other than that, I don't know, Tristan. This one might be controversial, but some kind of hunt buffs. Maybe to have, I feel like the
Oh,
resources
buffs
in
would
this
actually
game
be
are pretty
great.
strict. So having a way to get double our energy on the weekend or double our bang for our buck for energy on the weekends, something that helps us a little more get resources because it feels really bad. You don't get energy for leveling, spending 60 energy on the terrible AI to get like, yeah, farming for units, Vulcan. Holy mama.
Oh, dude.
Give us a little help.
90,000 units for 60
Give
energy
us something, man.
is diabolical.
Anything, whatever they want to do. Just give us more stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole economy discussion. Like, I don't know what it's like in Epic 7, but they're kind of different design philosophy games. But, like, I just feel like even compared to Star Rail, the drain on units feels insane compared to what Star Rail was. I don't remember ever once doing I can't remember what they call units in Star Rail, but I don't remember ever once doing runs for that stuff. It just sort of came to you. And in this one, it's brutal. I think they should add, like, when you sell memory fragments, you get some of it or something like that. Because the fact that not only do you need it to level, but, like, a limit break is 500,000. Even when you look to doing, like, your potentials, like, that's going to cost you an extra 60,000. You know, this one's 28. Like, everything has it. I would love to see that reduction. That would be absolutely fantastic because there's just so much that it needs to go into. And it's like, if you spend 3 days farming, you know, as a free to play, not doing refreshes, you know, farming your limit break materials for a character. And then after that, you've then got to spend 4 days farming your units. Like, that's just a bit sus. So I would love to see something done with that, but I do agree, like even just a double drop weekend or something like that. And with the double drop weekends, because we saw this in Etheria, you know, where people like were feeling exhausted saving all their refreshes. Because like even if we go over
That's
here.
why I said it might be a little controversial.
Well,
Because we
I
came
mean,
from Etheria Vulcan and they had to do some crazy revamps because that was like 72 hours of grinding or you wouldn't finish.
Yeah, I mean, but what you can do is you can like say for like, you know, you got 10 runs this weekend, 15, 20 runs, you know what I mean? However many runs it be.
And it's funny because I think you were saying, right, it's based off Star. I'm pretty sure, chat, Star Rail, they cap the amounts you can do anyways. So
yeah, something like that would be good. Because even I'm like starting to save these bad boys. Just purely because I feel like a lot of the 4-piece sets are pretty average. And it wouldn't surprise me if they eventually, like maybe after like this whole 3 characters in the next main update, put in like new gear sets or something. So I'm kind of like, I'm already doing that free to play scumminess, like of just trying to save and hold on for the next thing. Because once again, because they're designing off Star Rail, and Star Rail's big thing is putting in new gear sets so that you have to refarm and go through all that again. So that's kind of a little thing I'm doing, which could be a poor decision or it could pay off in the end, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I think that's going to be it because once again, I'm a bit tight on time. Sorry, boys, but I appreciate yous both coming. Guys, make sure you go check out these guys' channel. They will be in the description below. Any final words, Tristan or Carr?
More redheads. Game needs more redheads. Desperately needs more redheads.
Fair about you, Carr?
Vulcan,
Some people say there are no
always a
right
pleasure,
or wrong
man.
takes, but that's the only right take. We need more redheads ASAP.
I mean, there's some great looking redhead characters across all games. But no, Vulcan, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for having me. Tristan, always good to see you. Pull Yuki, guys, if you like how she looks and plays. Otherwise, I don't know if a buff's happening. There's a maintenance right now. There was no buff, so you really got to decide. If you're free to play, just wait. Let the guinea pig streamers test her more. And yeah, we'll get back to you on that one.
Wait for the chick that looks like a support. That's my play now. What's her name? What's the second unit? I already forgot her name.
Serenial.
Serenial.
She's a do second, and then Serenial might be a support.
Yeah, I feel like she looks like a support. Who knows? But that's kind of. I think I'm going to skip Chizuru unless she looks really. But the problem is if they make them all fun, it becomes tough as free to play unless you just get really good RNG, man.
So pull based off looks.
But anyway, guys, that is going to be it for this one. As always, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and we'll look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.